first thing you think of when you think of Star Wars? For many, myself included, I think of Darth Vader and his iconic red lightsaber. But what many don't consider is where Darth Vader came from. Before Darth Vader became the mechanical machine that we know today, there was a boy, a Padawan, and a Jedi Knight named Anakin Skywalker. In this speech, I will tell the tragic tale of how fear, a failure to handle emotions, and outside manipulation led to his demise. Anakin's fault becoming Darth Vader was to save those he loved from dying. So, fear. We all have that one thing that we're terrified will happen to us someday. And Anakin is no different, except that his fear has happened to him and he doesn't want it to happen to him again. Anakin's greatest fear is losing those whom he loves. When he was a Jedi in training, he had dreams of his mother dying, only to then discover she had been captured by raiders on his homeworld. So, going against the Jedi Code, which forbids forms of attachment, he went to his mother only to have her die in his arms. Later, he begins having the same kinds of dreams about his secret wife, Padme, dying in childbirth. Anakin vowed that he would do anything it took, even sacrificing everything he had, to keep her alive because he loved her more than anything. Living in this constant fear of death was a torment to his mind, as we can see in his words and his actions in Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. So next we'll look at how Anakin's failure to deal with his emotions. So from when he was a young boy to his eventual downfall to becoming a Dark Lord of the Sith, a great deal of terrible things happened to and around him. As I already mentioned, he lost his mother. As one would expect, there's a lot of grief tied up in that, and also a thirst for revenge. Part of the Jedi Order Code says, there is no emotion, there is only peace. And most Jedi have no problem with this. But Anakin did not grow up from birth living in the Jedi Temple. Instead, he spent the first 9 years of his life a slave on Tatooine. Had he grown up living and breathing the Jedi teachings, he may have had certain processes in place to help process strong negative emotions, but he didn't. And the Jedi Order doesn't seem to offer him a way to learn these to where he's at now, and so he just models them up. At this point in his life, the galaxy is in the middle of a war, and Anakin is starting to experience difficulty reconciling the Jedi beliefs with his own beliefs because he thinks they're limiting him. He starts questioning their teachings and even disregards them by killing a Sith, an unarmed opponent. At this point, he still considers himself a Jedi, but thinks that his way is the right way, kind of like a stubborn child. And the last most important factor in his journey to the dark side is the outside manipulation of his mind. Outside of Obi-Wan Kenobi, his mentor, Chancellor Palpatine of the Galactic Republic is the one other whom he looks up to and respects. But little do the Jedi know that the seemingly genial Chancellor is actually the Supreme Dark Lord of the Sith, and the one that they've been looking for the entire war. Unbeknownst to Anakin, Palpatine has slowly been gaining his trust and planting seeds of doubt about the Jedi teachings in his mind and watching them grow, all the while slowly bringing him under his influence. In one fateful night, he reveals who he truly is to Anakin and offers him an ultimatum: either kill him and stay with the weak-willed Jedi, or help him turn against the Jedi and become more powerful than he could ever imagine, with even power to keep people from death. So remember, the whole reason Anakin is even considering this idea is because he wants to save Padme, to save the woman he loves from his nightmares. So Anakin kneels, swears his fealty to the Sith Lord, and hence Darth Vader is born. But it is not until a ruinous battle against Obi-Wan Kenobi that the monster we think of Darth Vader, the machine, is created. In the battle, Obi-Wan cuts off 3 of his limbs and leaves him to burn in the lava on the planet that they were fighting on. Palpatine, or rather Darth Sidious, comes to his aid and just barely saves his life. And you may be wondering, did Vader save Padme from her supposed death? The answer is a disheartening one. In his quest for power, he believes that Padme has turned against him, unknowingly, and helped Obi-Wan find him, and he almost kills her. It was after Padme realizes that Anakin is no longer the man she fell in love with, that she does die in childbirth of a broken heart. And when Darth Vader hears of this, he no longer has anything to live for and gives himself fully over to evil and Palpatine's empire. And the black masked villain we know today was created. In conclusion, we've looked at how his innate fear, failure to handle emotions, and unseen outside manipulation caused Anakin to become Darth Vader. Anakin's fall was because he wanted to save those he loved. So we can take away from this tragic story that trying to prevent the foreseen ultimately leads to its fulfillment.